time for your daily dose of adorable. This groundhog is going to town on a juicy red tomato. This video was captured by gardener Jeff Permar, and he's got a whole lot more where this came from. The story starts a few years back. Jeff planted a garden at his home in Middletown and began to notice some crop damage.
Well, it wasn't until he installed a motion detection camera that he figured out what the source was, and you guessed it, it was a groundhog. As much as he wanted to be mad, well, he couldn't. Apparently the critter was just too cute. So since then, Jeff has learned to coexist with what's become a full family of groundhogs affectionately known as the chunks. DelmarvaLife's Katie Zerilli tells us this tale.
These are tomatoes.
When Jeff Permar of Middletown planted this garden 5 years ago, he never imagined who'd join him in consuming the crops.
They haven't messed with any of these yet.
Okay.
But they've taken these out.
It started early on. He noticed damage and couldn't figure out the source. It wasn't until he installed a motion detector camera that he caught the cute culprit.
And this groundhog pops up out of nowhere, literally out of nowhere. He's not even in the frame, and it's just bang, he's there. And he's swagger, chomping, chewing, lip smacking.
The teeth, the cheeks, the grip on the veggie. How could Jeff be angry with anything this adorable? The answer is he couldn't. A foe to most gardeners, to Jeff became family.
So I gave him a name Chunk because he was taking chunks out of the vegetables. So I said, this is very fitting.
Jeff began posting these delightful dining videos all over social media. Before long, this savage became a superstar.
And then it went totally viral, and I started getting lots of fans.
As interest on his channels grew, so did interest in his garden. Before long, Chunk got himself a girlfriend, and the baby chunks were later born.
I switched the name from Chunk to The Chunks. So now we have Nugget Chunk, Nibbles Chunk, Chunk Chunk, Chibbles Chunk, Chip Chunk.
No matter which chunk shows up to chomp, it's always a charming show.
They look right directly into the camera, but it's like they're looking right through your soul, and they will stare you down and just keep chewing and chewing.
And if you're wondering how Jeff captures these cute critters, you gotta check out the Chunk Cam. I'm gonna leave them a little present here. Hey, check it out, I'm part of the family. Guess this makes me Katie Chunk. One woman's present is a groundhog's picnic. The coolest thing for Jeff is that this has taught him to coexist.
They were here before me, you know, and from their perspective, you know, they just see these stuff just growing, right? And it's like, you can't expect them to just say, hey, that's theirs, I'm gonna leave it alone. It's not how it works.
So he shares, though sometimes his efforts to do so don't always pan out.
I put the plant in here, then I staked it and I saran wrapped it real good so they couldn't see. Then it started growing up like this, but then I fell asleep. Because if you sleep, then if it's up here just a little bit, look. See? Gone.
They got that.
Gone, gone, gone.
Goodness.
Gone. This still has a shot.
It'd be hard to find a man on Delmarva with better knowledge of a groundhog's diet.
So the Chunk's favorite vegetable by far is broccoli. They love broccoli. They love corn, tomatoes, carrots. They love this alfalfa. So they'll come up here and they'll eat this, but they do not like onions. So as an experiment, I wanted to test that theory, and it's true. They love to drink a lot of water.
Oh, gotcha.
They love to swim. Groundhogs are excellent swimmers.
Being wild animals, of course, none of the chunks will ever be able to tell Jeff thank you. But he says that's okay, because what they've given him in return is more than enough.
They're having a great time, and they're well provided for, you know, is rewarding. The other thing that's really rewarding too is just the feedback from the fans. You know, that positive feedback really makes me feel good. I like the fact that I can change somebody's day, you know, just from a simple video.
Fans have even provided for the chunks. They send all kinds of garden gifts.
So they'll just come out from here, come here, have a snack, relax, go back, or they'll come out, have a drink, or they'll have my garden.
I asked Jeff if Groundhog Day around here is special, and he said the chunks are on their own schedule. When it comes to the Bill Murray movie, though, he can relate.
It's the same for me. Like, I'm always doing the same stuff, so it's like I'm living Groundhog Day every day, just trying to get the footage.
A life he didn't expect in the least.
I always thought that I would just be the guy that just grows the vegetables and just gives people tips and pointers, you know. Never in my life did I think that, you know, I would be part caretaker of the chunks.
A life he now never wants to leave.
You know, I could move, you know. I don't want to.
Because the tale of the gardener and his groundhogs is truly one for the ages.
Katie asked Jeff if he has any future plans for the groundhogs. Guess what?
What?
He says he wants to write a children's book.
That would be awesome.
Isn't that a terrific idea?
Hopefully he's a little artist too, or do you think he'll have pictures of the actual groundhog in the book?
He might have, yeah, I bet you're right. He'll have All right.
It's gonna be adorable.
Whatever you're doing, don't go anywhere. DelmarvaLife will be right back.